Next on Worcester News tonight, the Arctic blast hits central Massachusetts. How people are dealing with today's cold weather. Plus, drinking it in. Patriots fans are helping boost alcohol distribution sales as people get ready for this weekend's big game. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. Brutally cold temperatures today, but we are expected to see a warm up soon. Here in Worcester, we woke up to a temperature of 7 below zero, which is colder than it was in notoriously chilly places like Iceland and Alaska. Here's meteorologist Tim Kelly with our first look at our forecast.
Yeah, we did manage to get to 7 below zero this morning at the airport, making it the coldest reading so far this season. Maybe ends up that way too. Little wave of energy coming through with Illinois. It's on the warming side of a front that's going to go through in a couple of days. So we still have very cold air outside. Tonight there's been quite a lake effect band going across New York near Watertown, New York. Ocean effect clouds. But for us, what a pretty sunny, cold day today. And now with a approaching new moon, the moon is only visible early in the morning in the east. With a mostly clear sky, snow on the ground, and lighter wind. The wind chill value is not going to be as cold, but on the thermometer it is just about as cold. There's 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. We're going below zero. Now on top of the hill tomorrow at the airport, be about 2 above. But if you live outside the city in a lower elevation with some snow on the ground, could be 5 or 10 below in the morning. Even on Cape Cod going for about 10 in the morning. So a lot of sunshine again tomorrow, less windy. Today we reached the low teens. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock, mid and high teens. A few of us will get to 20. That's the beginning of a warming trend that goes through a very nice weekend forecast in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Tim. And today's cold temperatures meant another day off for Worcester Public Schools. Students got to stay home, but for some, work must continue. Doctors are reminding people if you do have to go outside, make sure you take the proper precautions. Our Chandler Walsh joins us live now with more. Chandler?
Olivia, doctors also say to stay inside as much as possible, but for certain professions, workers have to be outside to do their jobs, like gas attendants on West Boylston Street behind me. They say it's very uncomfortable, but they're prepared. The bitter cold and wind have many in Worcester County staying in the warmth of the indoors. People like Lenny Stano don't have the luxury.
It's cold, it's very cold.
The attendant at Peterson Oil in Worcester was busy pumping gas. He says the colder it is, the busier it is, and he layers up.
Thermals, I get my regular work clothes, and a heavy jacket and a sweatshirt.
Doctors are warning of dangers like frostbite and hypothermia. John Broach is an emergency physician at UMass Memorial Medical Center and says the cold can also worsen a person's respiratory issues.
We've certainly had a number of folks who, without being frankly hypothermic, have certainly had illnesses related to the cold and making their underlying conditions worse.
Broach says it's important to stay well nourished, hydrated, and layered. If trouble does arise, UMass EMS is on the lookout for warning signs.
You look at them, see how they dress, are they appropriate for the environment. Then you look at the physical signs, are they acting normal? Are they still shivering? Are they not shivering? Where their mental status is.
Construction worker Jeremy Taylor spent the morning hours working in an uninsulated building. He says they sent people home because the temperatures make it difficult to use their hands and get work done.
You learn over the years that this productivity just doesn't meet the standards when it's this cold. These guys just don't want to work, and then morale goes down too. And you just don't want your guys suffering.
UMass says to cover exposed skin and limit time outside. For Peterson workers, it's part of the job.
Oh, we don't get breaks. There's no breaks here. The cars just keep coming and going,
According to the National Weather Service, it's in the single digits with wind chills in the negatives now in Worcester. Workers outside say they're looking forward to a warm-up. Live in Worcester, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
Mechanical issues on the Framingham-Worcester commuter rail line this morning leading to delays. The deep freeze rolled into town last night and this morning's commute on the T was busy. A passenger tweeted out this picture from a crowded Central Square station in Cambridge around 7 o'clock after a Red Line train was taken out of service for 30 minutes. Regular riders of the Red Line and the T say they know to give themselves extra time when the weather is bad. 3 tractor trailers and 3 other vehicles involved in a crash in Charlton today. It happened on the Pike around 8 this morning. Amazingly, only 1 person suffered minor injuries. Several lanes were shut down this morning as authorities cleared the damaged vehicles. All but one of those lanes is now back open. The cause of the crash is under investigation. A new Worcester fire engine is officially blessed at a ceremony Thursday. The blessing took place at the South Division Fire Station on Southbridge Street this afternoon. The new engine 2 is one of the busiest, serving the main South area. It will replace a 22-year-old engine, which will continue to serve the city as a spare if needed.
Firefighting is a dangerous job, and it is my job and my administration's job to figure out a way to make it safer. Technology and these new fire trucks are just one piece of the puzzle.
And the new engine is being paid for with fiscal year 18 capital funding. The city says investing in new equipment helps keep the city safe. A doctor from Holden who nearly died during an Ebola epidemic 5 years ago is being honored for his work in one of the countries affected by the virus. Richard Sacra is receiving the prize for Outstanding Christian Medical Missionary Service. It comes with a $500,000 gift. Sacra says the money will be used to make improvements at the missionary hospital in Liberia where he works. The deadly Ebola virus causes severe bleeding and organ failure. The American Heart Association is asking everyone to support women's heart health by wearing Red Friday to raise awareness. The association says 1 in 3 women die from heart disease and stroke each year. It's the #1 killer in women.
So what we really want to do is take care of people in early stages so that we prevent these things from happening in the first place. So that means attention to the things that are risk factors for developing heart attack and stroke. Things like high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol, diabetes.
And doctors say being in tune with your body could save your life. According to the association, 80% of heart disease cases can be prevented. Super Bowl 53 is 3 days away, and some central Massachusetts businesses are noticing an increase in sales. Along with the game comes food and drinks. Liquor stores and distributors say they typically see an uptick this time of year if the Pats make it to the Super Bowl. Our Brittany Schaefer joins us now with more. Brittany?
Olivia, Patriots fans are thirsty for more than just a win on Sunday. According to the website alcohol.org, the average Pats fan drinks 6.6 drinks on game day.
Tarek Mrozkowski is looking ahead to Sunday. He will be in the stands watching the Patriots take on the Rams in Super Bowl 53.
We're heading to Atlanta on Saturday to go down to the game, so we figured we didn't want to miss this one, so we got a good feeling about it.
It will be Mrozkowski's 4th time attending the big game, but the Patriots aren't the only reason he celebrates this time of year. The owner of Ted's Beer, Wine, and Spirit says the days leading up to the Super Bowl are some of the busiest of the year.
It's like night and day when they are in the Super Bowl. I remember one of our slowest Super Bowls is when they had lost in the AFC Championship and Peyton Manning was in the Super Bowl, so it was one of the slowest, so it really does affect how people perceive, how people watch.
Ted's gets their beer from Atlas Distributing Inc. in Auburn. Vice President of Sales John Saloy says their business increases 20% when the Pats are in the Super Bowl.
This is almost as big as 4th of July for us, so we have more trucks, longer hours, and we'll probably be delivering on Saturday as well.
The beer distributor is filling hundreds of thousands of beer orders across central Massachusetts. Saloy says having the Patriots in the Super Bowl 3 years in a row has been great for business.
3 years in a row has been enormous for us, and it's almost gotten to the point where we're expecting it, so I hope Tom Brady never retires.
The Patriots are 2-1 when Mrozkowski's cheered them on at the Super Bowl. His prediction for Sunday:
I don't care how they do it this year, I just want to win. That's I think they will, though. I think they got it. There's something about this team.
While I hope the Patriots win, predictions aside, based on what I saw today, it's safe to say fans will be enjoying the game Sunday responsibly. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
And as the Patriots look to beat LA in the big game, the game won't be the only attraction on Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday is also the most expensive day of the year for advertising as well. Ad time is selling for a record $5.25 million this year, up a hair from last year.
The price of a Super Bowl ad has doubled over the past 10 years, and that stands in contrast to premier primetime television programming, where the average price of a commercial, because of audience fragmentation and ratings erosion, has actually fallen by about 12% over the past decade.
And many of the usual brands are back. Anheuser-Busch buying a record 6.5 minutes of ad time, along with at least 5 car makers, including Kia, Audi, and Mercedes. And Patriots owner Robert Kraft on CNBC this morning and talking about Tom Brady's future in Foxborough and salary negotiations with the star quarterback.
One of the things about him is the most important thing to him is to win and not to make money. And so I think he understands that if we pay him a fair wage, whatever we don't pay him is going to players to make him better.
Kraft also said he thinks Bill Belichick will stay in his job as head coach of the Pats for, quote, a number of years. It's hard to tell what a person is thinking just by looking at them, but researchers at WPI may allow you to get pretty close. A new thinking cap collects brain data as people are working on computers. Our Rosalind Flaherty joins us now to explain. Rosalind?
Olivia, we've all heard of the saying, put on your thinking cap. Well, this piece of technology is designed to show researchers what a student is thinking to help them learn better. This cap can tell researchers at WPI how someone is learning at a computer, something they can't determine by looking.
Just watching a student work on a problem, it's hard to tell the difference between someone who's, just staring off into space versus deeply reflecting on the problem.
The research team, led by assistant professor Erin Solovey, uses lightweight, non-invasive sensors to collect brain data as students work on the computer. They will see how a student is responding to a problem and can take steps to help the student.
If they're mind wandering, have one type of intervention that kind of brings them back into focus, or even tells them to take a break, or if they are, deeply reflecting, then we wouldn't want to interrupt them, but maybe support them.
Researchers showed us how it works by a student tapping their fingers on both his right and left hand. The colored parts show how the student's brain was changing during the experiment.
Red is very active and the bluer is less activation.
The 3-year study is just starting. It's part of a $1 million grant from the National Science Foundation. Solovey will be working with students at WPI and others across the country, hoping it will one day change how someone learns.
I think that many areas can be done for people to actually to increase the learning outcomes, and some people are struggling with that. I think if you can have some techniques like this to support you when you need support.
The professor says before this cap, you would have to use big medical equipment. She says this is a more realistic approach to look into the brain. Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.